Today's story, an unusual story. I sent you the niggin. Huh? Who's davening today? Huh? Fine, good. Okay. This is a very unusual story. And Ashgacha Pratis seems to be connected to what we just learned. So, the Pesach Malach Stavke. I'd written that he was a chassid of the Alter Rebbe. That's true. He was a chassid as a young man, but he was also a chassid of the Mitler Rebbe and the Tzemach Tzedek, and one of the chayzim by the Tzemach Tzedek. He was a big Gaon, able and a Meridik Amken. He could just be think about one thing for hours, completely oblivious to his surroundings. He could recall a maimer word for word that was said years ago and delve into it. And he was an author of deeply moving nigunim. If you heard that nigun, and the whole story behind it with Hillel Parisha, he used to send him nigunim as a gift. So there was a Pesach, and there's a whole section here, but here's the story I want to tell you. And it's a very, very unusual story. A Pesach, so Malastafkir, so the Misnagdim in his town were very envious of it. I'm just going to read the way the story says. Where's the story from? Laman Yedu, Rabbi Shusterman. The Balkoid in 770. He wrote a sefer, collection of stories that he heard, and so on. This is one of them. And he was a reliable authority. So they were very envious of him. Why? Of his davening. That's interesting. It was one of the things he used to criticism of the Chassidim is they daven long, they're envious. They're both are true. They're critical. In other words, why were they critical? It's really because of the envy. That a person could be lost in prayer. Here comes the amazing part. So this couldn't happen nowadays, what I'm going to tell you now, because as generations continue, this kind of thing is not really accessible. And that is that they caused, through using kishuv, which means black magic, the powers of impurity, that extraneous, non-kosher thoughts should enter his mind and disturb him. That's pretty powerful, these guys. They're able to do that. So the Pesach is, pardon? Yeah, we don't need the black magic. Now he's very disturbed, Pesach, and can't understand what's happening with himself. That he's davening and he has this desire, the lustful thoughts. So he came to the Alter Rebbe and he says, Rebbe, what's going on? Help me. Alter Rebbe says to him right away, that's not you. This is being through kishuv. It doesn't say how they did it, but it could be they engaged the service of the local, the clipper, the local witch. Now comes the fascinating part. Now, the Rebbe takes an apple. He looks at it, and he gives it to Rabbi, and he says to him, say you don't want to eat the apple. He says, Rabbi, how can I say I don't want to eat it? I want it. I want to. The Rebbe says to him a second time. The Rebbe takes the apple back, looks at it again, and then says, to him, Rabbi Pesach again, say you don't want it. Rabbi Pesach says, how can I say I don't want it when I do want it? The Rebbe takes it a third time and says, say you don't want it. This time Rabbi Pesach said, now be'emes, I don't want it. He ate from it, and that was the end of the story. Cleared, healed, and became, he couldn't penetrate, and he was rid of these, the bombardment of the alien and foreign machshavas in the story. L'chora, what's the pshat in the story? I mean, just this is End of Moishe. Must I say anything more? So, l'chora, what did the Pesach do? What did the Alter Rebbe, plod him, push him to do? Push him to go to the Etzem HaNefesh of Bittul, divest himself, and change his naturally hardwired middah. This is a middah. He likes the apple. He doesn't like an apple. Just knows this, by the way, apples were not common like today. Just as a story in between. I think I told you, Peretz Mochkin told, where did he hear this from? The Peretz said when I think I mentioned the story. As a Bach, he came back from the Lubavitch and he came home. He was away for 3 years. He was a teen. His mother hadn't seen him in 3 years. So at one point, she was giving him an apple during the day. He said, I looked at it like it was treif. An apple during the day is not there, it's a part of the meal. So an apple is... Anyway, what's the Nekudah here? It seems the Nekudah here is that our Pesach had to draw on the Etzem HaNefesh, complete bittul, so much so that if this is the Ratzon Hashem, then he doesn't desire the apple anymore. And it's that level that no clipper can get there. That's a barrier that... So when he's davening, spelling out further, now gets just give us explanation. When his davening was certain degree of his mitzias, I love Hashem and all Hashem. So there's an opening of my mitzias, this little tiny opening. Then the Machshava Zoras can enter. But Rebbe lifted him to a place of beyond his mitzias. Be'emes, he did this in a short time, which is that since the Alter Rebbe is saying, as Hashem's representative, you don't want it. So how is that possible? By drawing on the Etzem HaNefesh, Yitaki Be'emes doesn't want it. And at that level, he's immune to any bombardment of extraneous forces. L'chura, that's the pshat. Have a wonderful day, very lofty levels, but we should know such a thing.
I heard the story differently in my head when you said it.
Yeah.
I heard that he was in a place where these machshos go along because the essence, he was higher than that.
Yeah.
He wasn't on the level of seichel as well. But somehow he seems to get in because other people are breaking the rules. So you have to go to the Alter Rebbe. I don't think that he would have gone to the Alter Rebbe to tell the Alter Rebbe, I have machshos stuff.
Of course. Right. It came from the outside. But how did it get in? That's the question. How to get it? It had to be a little hole to get in. You had to block that, as it were, drawing on the etzem. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bracha v'atzlacha.